Anti-nuclear initiatives of Kazakhstan are known worldwide. Kazakhstan has set an example for other countries by closing the semi-nuclear test site and creating a nuclear weapon-free zone in Central Asia. The representatives of major international organizations, politicians, and the most authoritative experts spoke highly of Kazakhstan's contribution to a global process of the nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation.
私たちにとってやはり一番関心があるのは、やはりセミパラチンスク核実験場で
The main goal of our foundation is to remind people of the dangers of the atomic weapons. Therefore, we consider it necessary to talk about the tragedy of the Semey test site. We will continue to work closely with our Kazakh colleagues, since Kazakhstan is very actively promoting the idea of nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation on the world stage. We must do everything possible so that all people remember the horrors and never forget them.
世界中で行われた核実験の被害の一つとしてですね、私たちも学んでいきたいと思っています。
The Republic is making great efforts to develop and use the peaceful atom. Possessing the largest reserves of the natural uranium in the world, Kazakhstan intends to use nuclear technologies for the betterment of the citizens' lives. The country intends to cooperate with the European Center for Nuclear Research. Kazakh scientists will be able to intern and work in this organization. They will use the laboratories of the world's most advanced and technologically equipped organizations. Moreover, the research base of the International Organization for Nuclear Research will be useful for the development of medicine. Kazakhstan will have an opportunity to create its own high-tech developments and apply the modern technologies of cancer treatment.
У нас будут возможности у наших ученых по разным.
We will have opportunities to use all the laboratories and facilities at the center in different areas. There's no membership fee. Our scientists need a few years to work. First, we have to look at the results. Then we must decide our further stay in the laboratories.
Глубокого анализа мы тогда должны будем принять решение о дальнейшем нашем пребывании.
Kazakhstan and South Korea are strengthening cooperation in different areas. The countries intend to develop cooperation in civil matters and legislation. Kazakh legislators have shared their experience with their colleagues in Seoul, which hosted a symposium of the Association of Asian Constitutional Courts and Equivalent Institutions. Advisor to the chairperson of Kazakhstan's Constitutional Council, Khabul Sayat Abishev, spoke of the role of the constitution in Kazakhstan. The meeting will allow the association members to thoroughly study the constitutional control in Kazakhstan. The symposium participants were also introduced to the changes into the constitution which were made over the past 30 years. The Seoul meeting will be a foundation for joint research to advance the rule of law and human rights in Asia, the organizers believe. Kazakhstan joined the organization in 2014.
Korea 88 жылы конституциялық сотын құрып
The Constitutional Court was established in South Korea in 1988. The country took a democratic path quite early. The political institutions and the civil society have allowed the country to become a progressive nation. Kazakhstan can quickly adopt the good initiatives. Thanks to the influence and reaction of our people, we can create and do a lot.
Дүниелерді біздің халқымыздың осы ықпалды жаңағы ынталылығының арқасында жүзеге асыруға болады.
Preserving unity and spiritual revival remain priorities for the Kazakh society. Kazakh President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev outlined the main areas of the country's development for the next few years. Kazakhstan, a home to the representatives of more than 130 nationalities living peacefully together, is leading by example in regards to inter-ethnic and interfaith harmony. The researchers and expert council of Kazakhstan's Ethnic Assembly are studying this phenomenon.
Теперь предприниматели, владельцы малого и среднего бизнеса могут взять кредит всего под 1%.
Наши исследования направлены на то, что мы хотим, вернее, мы изучаем, какие же общие ценности все-таки объединяют.
Our research is focused on the facts. We're studying what kind of common values unite the people in Kazakhstan, despite the fact that they belong to different ethnic groups. They have different mother tongues and different traditions. We see that some values are fairly common and universal. These are the values related to family, health, and importance of education. They are truly prevalent now. Accordingly, the daily life of our citizens is built around these values.
Соответственно, вокруг этих ценностей и строится, скажем так, повседневная жизнь наших граждан.
Ең басты байлығымыз ол біздің бірлігіміз. Осы бірлікті сақтау үшін біз әрқашанда өзімізді үлесімізді қосып, оны түсініп және
Our main wealth is our unity. We must preserve it, maintain this established order. Kazakhstan is our common homeland. We all have equal rights and equal opportunities. Every citizen should be aware of this and stay patriotic, work for the good of our common homeland and help it flourish.
Жерде өзіні отан сүйгішлік сезімін нақты көрсету білу керек.
Қазақстан территориясындағы осы барлық
Departments of Kazakhstan's People's Assembly have been opened in the universities of Kazakhstan. They work to promote the values of patriotism and unity of people among the students. Here, students can learn about what inter-ethnic unity is. They can conduct research and write articles about it.
осы тақырыптың аясында алып жатырған жайлары бар.
Stability is a result of Kyrgyzstan's 5-year membership in the Eurasian Economic Union, says the Kyrgyz expert community. During the republic's membership in the Eurasian Economic Union, Kyrgyzstan has managed to improve its position on key socioeconomic indicators. First of all, the GDP growth was estimated at 3.5% in 2018. The country has been able to boost the development of its manufacturing industries in agriculture. Growth in agriculture amounted to over 2%. The construction sector grew nearly 8%. The mutual trade turnover with the union member countries has increased by 5%. Such dynamism in Kyrgyzstan's economy has become largely possible because of the integration with the Eurasian Economic Union, experts opined.
Technical
parameters under which we had to join the EAEU have been introduced gradually. We're now beginning to be fully involved in the union. We still have to do many things in the future. In total, Kyrgyzstan's membership in the EAEU has allowed the republic to lower the consequences of the global turbulence, analysts believe. According to forecasts, the further development of integration processes will give an additional stimulus to Kyrgyzstan's economy. Entrepreneurs in Uzbekistan are interested in cooperation with the Astana International Financial Center. For example, they're planning to bring their securities to the international market through the Kazakhstan Stock Exchange. This was announced at the 26th Kamka Regional Forum in Tashkent. The event was an important one for Central Asia, Mongolia, Caucasus, and Afghanistan. More than 300 guests from 20 different countries took part in the forum. The experts discussed topics related to regional trade, transport, and transit. They also spoke about the possibilities of attracting investments. Proposals for development of human capital and education have been made here. The Kamka Forum is a very large-scale event. It includes economic, trade, and investment topics, but also cooperation in education, science, culture, and politics. Therefore, a discussion of a wide range of topics is very interesting for the forum participants. Today, we are negotiating with 5 publishers from Uzbekistan who, first of all, have shown confidence in our infrastructure and legal area. Moreover, they are interested in accessing the target audience of investors via our financial center. Uzbek people are looking forward to the launch of the Silk Visa. Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan want to introduce a single visa that will allow visitors to travel to the 2 Central Asian countries under one visa. This will attract more foreign tourists to the region and popularize these destinations. The officials of the 2 states are negotiating the agreement. Customs organizations are developing ways of information exchange and synchronizing the requirements and procedures for visa issuance. Foreign tourists will soon be able to plan their vacations where they can visit 2 countries in one trip. Other Central Asian countries are also looking into joining the initiative on the single visa introduction.
Надо сказать, что сегодня мы постарались также
Today, we've been working on the possibility of introducing a single visa to enter our countries. The residents of the countries that are allowed a visa-free entry to Kazakhstan are now able to travel to Uzbekistan without visas as well. This means that these tourists can visit Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan without a visa. This is the first step forward.
Они также могут въехать и в Казахстан. Это уже первый шаг.
More than 1 million tourists visited Almaty last year. Half of them were travelers from Europe, the United States, Russia, and Central Asia. They are attracted to the developed infrastructure, the natural beauty, and the ski resorts of the city. Description pointers with the Braille font and QR codes are installed on popular tourist sites for convenience of the foreign tourists. With a smartphone, people can access a complete information about the city's sites in 6 languages. Philip Thompson from Australia has traveled almost the entire world. He said that Kazakhstan was a discovery for him.
So I've been to Almaty, been to Altai region, to Mangostar region, to Shymkent, Turkestan. And of course, near Almaty, I've been to Sharon Canyon, to Kolsai, Kaindi. And just seen in the past few years how there's been a lot of developments and a lot of improvements.
The Australian traveler admits that no Courchevel can be compared with the mountains of Almaty and hospitality of the locals. He promises to return to Kazakhstan with his friends, where he enjoyed visiting exotic places and doing extreme sports. A vacation on the Shimbulak ski resort and the Medeo-High mountain skating rink was a captivating experience for Ahmad Al-Katabi from the United Arab Emirates.
It's my first time to visit Kazakhstan. It's a very lovely country. People are very friendly. I love it.
The increased tourist flows to the city have become possible due to a number of measures taken for the development of the industry. In Almaty, the share of tourism and related services in the cross-regional product will be increased to 6% by 2025.
Алматы является клондайком в сфере туризма, очень привлекательным для иностранных.
Almaty is Klondike in tourism. It is very attractive for foreign tourists. Every second tourist coming to Kazakhstan pays a visit to Almaty. At the end of 2018, for the first time in history, more than 1 million tourists visited the city. In the first quarter, the growth of tourists was estimated at more than 45.9%. This means that the city is attractive to foreigners. Kazakhstan intends to become one of the leading tourist destinations in the region. The state program will contribute to this. The implementation of the program will have a tremendous economic effect, attracting nearly 800 billion tenge of direct investments. This will increase the flow of domestic and inbound tourists by 4 times. A tourist zone on the coast of Lake Alakol is one of the 10 best resorts in Kazakhstan. More than 5 billion tenge was invested in its development. The coastal zone has been entirely prepared to receive tourists. A comprehensive development plan has been adopted for the next 4 years. The tourist zone of Lake Alakol has joined the top 10 most developed resorts in Kazakhstan. It is considered as one of the most promising areas in domestic tourism. The landing strip of the Urzhar airport will be increased to 2,500 meters. The internet will become more available in Alakol. The highway has been repaired and the embankment has been improved for the beginning of the new tourist season. 60 hectares of land will be allocated to the investors. A competition has been announced for construction of 2 4-star and 3-star hotels. In total, 175 tourist houses are located at Alakol. Tourists will receive information on sites of the Urzhar region. We work here and provide the necessary information 24 hours, 7 days a week. The water reservoir has become a comfortable resting place for the locals and foreign tourists. The resort area has its own walking street, several parks, and a chain of restaurants. We first arrived here in 2014. Since then, we see how the base has changed significantly. A record number of tourists is expected on Lake Alakol this year. According to forecast, nearly 1 million people will spend their time in this beautiful place. Kazakhstan and Belarus are strengthening cooperation in education. When Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko officially visited Kazakhstan in 2011, the country signed an agreement on the establishment of a consortium between the Kazakh universities and Belarusian research institutes. Today, the consortium includes more than 40 universities from both countries. The university scientists are working on the joint research projects.
До 700 человек, казахстанских студентов, аспирантов, докторантов, проходит свое обучение. Более того, проходит не только обучение.
There are nearly 700 Kazakh students, graduate and PhD students who study in Belarus. However, there are programs that allow Kazakh students to get trained at Belarusian enterprises, innovations, engineering and medical institutions, as well as scientific organizations of the National Academy of Sciences. There are projects in the agricultural industry. Technologies are tested in Belarus and then they are introduced in the work of the Kazakh farmers.
Те технологии, которыми располагает Беларусь, они проходят через учебные процессы, внедряются в практику казахстанских аграриев.
Очень активно, я буквально приведу хороший пример взаимодействия.
Kazakh agricultural universities are working with their Belarusian counterparts. It is the most up-to-date field in both countries and the student exchange is intense. This exchange is really practical. The students work with the technologies and the equipment.
Участвуют буквально в полях, работают с техникой, с эксплуатацией техники.
Integration of curriculum programs of partner universities and development of the double degree educational program are one of the major cooperation aspects. We have significantly increased the number of double degree education programs. Students have an opportunity to enroll into bachelor and master programs and use the advantages of both universities. They can earn diplomas from Kazakh and Belarusian universities based on the agreement. The faculty of the Kazakh and Belarusian universities are conducting extensive research. The number of joint projects is increasing. As a result of this fruitful work, Kazakh scientists obtained 33 innovative patents. A collection of unique scientific and historical books, Agorda, History of the Kazakh Khanate, Kazakhs and Russia, The Era of the Last Warriors, and the Kazakhs, The Ancestral Path, has been presented in the capital of Kazakhstan. The collection is based on the research and articles by Kazakh historian and expert at the Institute of World Economics and Politics, Radik Temirgaliyev. Publications cover different aspects of the national history from its formation till modern day, the country's historical relations with its neighbors, the role of the historical events and circumstances, and some of the personalities who made decisions that were crucial for the Kazakhs. According to the author, these books allow the readers to discover the unknown pages from the chronicles of Kazakhstan.
Одна из книг Акорда, она посвящена в первую очередь истории казахского ханства. В эпохе последних батыров я рассматриваю в первую очередь значение такого специфического для казахского общества, института, как.
One of the books, Agorda, is dedicated to the history of the Kazakh Khanate and the era of the last Kazakh warriors. I look at the values specific to the Kazakh society, such as an institution of warriors or batyrs, their lives and biographies. The book, Kazakhs and Russia, describes a process of the Kazakh Khanate joining Russia. It was a long process which lasted almost a century and a half. The book, The Kazakhs, The Ancestral Path, is a collection of my best articles. These articles describe completely different periods of history. There are also articles related to modern times. It is a collection of different articles.
Там абсолютно разные периоды, то есть и о древности, и об истории конгюев, есть статьи, которые затрагивают даже современность, поэтому такой просто сборник самых разных статей.
South Korean readers will soon be able to learn more about Kazakhstan. The South Korean travel magazine has a column about Kazakhstan. Amateur photographer Cho Chong-guk will run the column. It took him 2 months to work on the material. The photographer had lived in the largest city of Kazakhstan, Almaty, for 5 years. Cho Chong-guk traveled and took photographs of his favorite places across Kazakhstan.
알마티 주변에 이제 유명한 관광지가 있잖아요. 자른 계곡이.
I recommend Koreans to visit the Sharon Canyon and the Assa Plateau and Kolsai in the south of the country. The must-see places in the east is Altai, Mangostau in the west, and Burabay in the north. The number of tourists will increase due to the infrastructure development. I traveled to hard-to-reach places during my journeys. I stayed overnight in the villages. The locals showed me some beautiful places. Cho Chong-guk has several thousand photos on Kazakhstan in his collection. Publishers are willing to issue his works in their magazines. The June issue of Art Travel magazine covers Kazakhstan's tourist facilities. There's also information on the cities and famous Kazakh people. A few copies of the magazine have been given to the Embassy of Kazakhstan in Seoul.
그 고려인들이 거기에 많이 카자흐스탄에 살기 때문에
Tourists are interested in nature and history of the country. There are many Koreans who live in Kazakhstan. It would be great to organize tours to Kızılorda for Koreans since Korean hero Hanbong-do was buried there. The tour to Ushtebe, where Koreans used to live, is a good idea as well. Koreans will find it interesting. Photographs of Khan Tengri Mountains taken near Lake Tuskol are the most precious ones for Chochongguk. The most famous peak of Kazakhstan is interesting not only for tourists but also for historians. The word Tengri means God in Kazakh. It is consonant with Tangun, who is a founder god of the ancient Korean state. All the information on Khan Tengri will be available in Chochongguk's travel guidebook on Kazakhstan. He will publish his book next year.